So if we take a broader look and a broader perspective into which products are actually suitable for price sensitivity. If you look at your full product portfolio, not all your products are suitable for price sensitivity or for competitor pricing or price elasticity or cost-based plus. So from our perspective, what we usually recommend is, of course, a mix of all different kinds of strategies in order to get the most out of your pricing strategy. And we roughly make a decision or distinction between 5 core groups. So we have a group which we call the top items or key value items, where we're going to say these items really drive the perception to your customer. And most of the times with these products, you want to have a competitive placement in the market. Maybe it's your premium brands, you want to be a bit more expensive, but you want to make sure that the bandwidth is always okay with your competitors. Or maybe it's a bit more of a commodity product where you want to be more on the cheaper side to gain those products in there. So most of the time for these 10% of your products, you pretty much want to have a competitive pricing strategy, or in a B2B, give your sales account managers the possibility of actually going into that specific area. Then we have core items, slow movers, and your own brand. If we go to core items, that are usually the products that are bought together with the top items, but are not that price sensitive. And they are great margin drivers, right? This is where you really earn your money upon. And then you have your slow movers, which is the group that products you still need to have, but they're not moving as fast as they are as the core items, but they are still can be done a lot about it, increase of margin increase. Usually this is a bit of a group that is neglected in most of the companies because, well, it's a slow mover, it's not being pushed too much. But there is also where a lot of low-hanging fruit is, because with a proper experiment, you can actually earn some good margins on top of that. Same thing with your core items. So basically what we say, in the previous webinar, we discussed a lot of things about price elasticity, and I would strongly recommend, if you're not familiar with how that works or how SYMSON goes about that, to look back into a previous webinar. And what we would say is most of the core items can run into an elasticity strategy. Unless you do not have the proper data quality, then price sensitivity definitely comes in place as well. And it's also the issue with the slow movers, because most of those products don't have enough data quality to go into an elasticity strategy. We also strongly recommend using price sensitivity in that as well. And for your own brand, it really depends. Sometimes you have a very clear brand strategy and how you want to move about that specific product or that specific brand. But if it's not the case, sometimes you can actually use price elasticity or price sensitivity for these products as well. So looking into it, I would say a firm 50%, 40% of your products can be definitely suitable for price elasticity and price sensitivity. So it's a very interesting topic to further dive into. And then, of course, we still have a part which we call, and that's not part of this scope, with recommended retail pricing or advies verkoopprijzen in Dutch. So strongly advised prices by your supplier or the manufacturer that should be upheld, which is basically you can't really have a pricing strategy on top of those because you just have to follow the recommended prices. Okay, so the scope for today is really focusing on the core items, the slow moves, and the brands, and what price sensitivity could actually do for those products.